We get new badges.
We have to order new ones because we finally have a full board and we don't have enough badges for all the players. Okay. So
Well, I still have mine, but whatever.
well, you have yours.
You never gave me a bag.
Because we didn't have.
Now.
All we'll do is we'll skip right over all that stuff.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that in health agent stuff anyways.
Okay.
We can just jump right into it.
Yeah. So do we want to even pass on the minutes or do we want to?
No, go right into it.
We'll start the minutes.
We'll still do the minutes.
Like, yeah, like.
You're accepting minutes, by the way.
It's a little busy, so everyone else has a different issue. How you doing? Yeah.
What are you using to make the motion? Second.
No, it's okay. It's just this is probably.
This is right over here.
We haven't started yet. I was.
Yeah, Rick, you can pass that. Professional question.
I
can use the mention.
All good. Yeah. We got a couple minutes.
I built a thing, fix tomatoes, would they use wood?
Totally like the pot.
Yeah.
You wanna do a total length of pot on your feet.
Oh,
Bend your knees just a little. No, you stand as straight as you can straight. Bend your knees just a little
Yeah.
and then grip the gun.
Okay,
Now you're looking for your sight picture.
yeah,
Back sight to the front sight. You want to see the front sight.
yeah.
Pull, breathe out,
Squeeze.
squeeze. Breathe in, breathe out,
Yeah.
squeeze.
So I'm going.
You're just going in a repetitive
Yeah.
motion. This is what I do. I do whatever dry fire is.
Yeah, I do it.
Keep dry fire for about 15 minutes, then you'll get the memory pull on how hard it is to pull the trigger. But it's about total knees a
That's
little.
what I was wondering. I understand.
Yeah, and like I said, you want to be straight up and back in the front.
Lean forward. I don't remember.
No, don't lean forward because now you're off balance. And it's gonna kick you back a little, whereas if you're straight and tight with your knees bent a little.
It's like Sheila County.
That's
I'll
what-
ask you, I know you did.
I was a range officer for almost 30 years, so I've seen a lot of people shoot.
Yeah.
You want
No, I have one of.
But you'll get it, like I say, just keep dry firing.
Years ago, I used to see him walk.
I know, I'm going through the process now to get my.
And I would say hi, yeah.
That's the first time I've done it.
Dad was walking up,
Anyway,
driving home.
When we were
Oh,
at schools, you know, it used to be, we just control the papers, and if somebody signs, they can't get around, they go to a ring.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta qualify in Rhode Island. I'm dealing with that.
I haven't done that in 20 years.
Yeah, at least I don't have to qualify.
They go. It's like, no, it's okay.
You gotta take a test.
You know what I mean?
But I
But you're good, because you already have it. I have to take a test.
But I felt bad. It's cool.
When I first got.
The test is right down the street, right? Is that where you're going?
I don't know if I
Elements?
can take it there because I need round.
No, any gun class is fine,
Right.
because it's NRA certified.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was state by state.
I would go right down the street.
I was,
Feel better.
That's my own opinion.
Right.
And if you need a gun to qualify, I can let you use one of mine.
I think I'll be all set, but I appreciate you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's 7:00.
Being 7 o'clock, I'd like to open the meeting for Bellingham Board of Health, August 20th, 2024. Close down. Okay. Being 7 PM, August 2024, myself in 40 chair.
Here's me, here's me, you're gonna be speaking, you wanna,
Right.
you okay?
Okay. Start over here, okay. Being 7 o'clock, I open the meeting for the Bellingham Board of Health for August 2024. Myself, Chair Vin 40, Vice Chair Rick Gilberti, Member Richard Montanelli, Agent Dylan Levanti, Minutes Clerk Laura Renaud. First order of business, the minutes for.
I'd like to make a
July
motion,
16th.
we accept the minutes for July 16th, 2024 as typed.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay, we're gonna skip right over to new business, which is rodent infestations and solutions, so. Anybody who wants to speak, you got a few minutes, you gotta come up there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the mic.
No, you can just stand up.
Okay, never mind.
Understand.
Yes, that's-
Yeah, you can.
I live on Janine Road. I've come up a couple times.
Yeah.
I came up during the school year. We moved in 2005. We've got a dog, but we've never had skunk, whatever. There's something going on. It's the past year. At first I thought, and I noticed it after, Robert Walsh passed away, which lived on our street. They cleaned up his yard, everything. I thought, okay, they disturbed stuff.
Right.
I noticed on Facebook, a lot of Weathersfield neighborhood. Up by Temmie, everybody's posting, this neighbor has chickens, this has this. It's not that they're just coming at night. I sat the other night on my patio at 5:30. I don't think you'd want a rat jumping next to you while you're reading.
Right.
Disgusting. It is, you see them in the street dead. We have killed 2 in our yard. It's a concern because people take care of their property. So I'm kind of wondering, how are you guys monitoring chickens? Harborage areas in the neighborhood as well. There's a couple abandoned homes. You know, and I think things, you know, I know there's older people in the neighborhood and things, but maybe this is a time that go inspect what's going on in this neighborhood, because it's really been for me the past year. I'm not getting it like other people that have said. But it needs to be solved. I talked to the guy one morning at D&T Pest when I see him at Speedway. And you know what, they just put the traps out and you'll kill them. Put the traps out and we kill them. But that's just 1 or 2.
Right.
You know, so just wondered how many chickens in the neighborhoods.
Well, that we can,
Yeah.
we created a livestock bylaw mainly because people were just having way too many chickens. You're allowed 9 at a residence. You have to pass through the Board of Health to get a permit.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if there's a fee the first time, but after that, if you're in good standing, there's no continual fee for it. It's just so we can get animal control. They look at cruelty to animal protection. You have to have a certain bedding area, a certain roaming area. And in most cases, people can handle 9. We had influxes, people coming from other states, and they were just coming in with 20 and 30 chickens. And you're not allowed unless you're a farm, and that would be the only one I can think of is Lakeview. There may be a few others off of Cross Street and Park Street. But if you have a farm, you're allowed to rooster. But like any other regulation, if your rooster disturbs the neighborhood before 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
you can't have it either way.
There is, I guess, there's new one on, you said it's on Patricia, that I have now
It's
heard.
behind us, where at least Ann,
Is it
it is going all day long.
119, Patricia?
That sounds about
right.
It sounds about right, it's right.
Because I went there today.
Yeah.
I went there today. I spoke to the homeowner. I told him, hey, do you keep chickens? He said, yes. Said, do you have a rooster? He said, yes. I said,
You can't.
brought him a copy of our livestock regulation, section number 1, right on there is no roosters are allowed in a residentially zoned area. So I told that to him. I said, unfortunately, you gotta get rid of the rooster as well as you have to maintain under 9 chickens. He said that he was willing to comply. So that was literally as of, let's see, I went there this afternoon, probably like 2:30ish. So,
There's one at Maureen.
Maureen?
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Maureen?
Maureen or Teresa.
Okay,
When I came in a couple weeks ago, I had mentioned, and then I called because I sent one of the neighbors.
So
that-
obviously, if the bedding area is not clean,
Right,
that can, in some cases, we've had them in Weathersfield.
we've
had
seen
them
the
in North
chickens
Main
and the
Street.
rooster on the road.
We've had-
already.
Rodent problems, you know, rats, whatever.
Yeah. How many, can I ask, like today, like how many chickens did he have?
I didn't get to go back behind and like see the chickens.
Okay,
I was at the front of his door and I said, hey, do you keep chickens? Like I said.
Yeah.
He said, yes, I
Is
do.
there a way that we can check how many people?
yeah, he's supposed to have, does he have a permit, or did he?
I
Because the
bel- I
permit will
believe
tell
he
you
did,
right there,
yeah.
you're only allowed 9. So if you have baby chickens, whatever, you gotta come down to 9.
So any house can have up to 8 chickens? 9 chickens?
No roosters, and if you have offspring, the Board of Health is currently working on a regulation because people have other animals and they say, well, the bylaw from 1950 says 6 months or older. It's not gonna happen with this Board of Health. Because people get their quality of life ruined by the fact that someone says, well, I got 4 babies. And the other thing they can't figure out is they have more females than males. And I said, if you get rid of the male, you'll only have the females. They won't reproduce. Well, I can't do that because I slaughter them, I eat them. I said, well, you cannot go above 3. So we have to, if we pass a regulation, if there's a bylaw, the bylaw is pre-existing, it voids our regulation. I don't really think that's fair, but we're gonna go through the process. And now the selectmen just created a bylaw committee, so we're gonna have to go to the committee, tell them what we wanna do. We're gonna take out of the Bellingham bylaw. No, let's see, older than any animal is an animal. And they'll be removing 6 months or older, because they consider it an adult. We're just gonna say, we don't care if it's an adult, a juvenile, a baby. It's an animal, as long as it's breathing and surviving, it's an animal.
Relating back to chickens, however.
Yeah.
Currently, the bylaw, the way it is written is that, yes, anyone in Bellingham can currently keep under 10 chickens, so 9.
No,
In my opinion, that number needs to drop.
Yeah.
However, the issue with that is that the reason why we can't say drop it right now in this meeting is because that definition is written into the bylaws.
right.
So that's why we formed the select board formed that bylaw committee. So I'm interested in, interestingly enough, the building commissioner as well as the planning, the town planner, they're both on it. They told me about its creation last night. They told me that, you know, this is a perfect opportunity with this specific bylaw to not only bring our 6 months or older thing, but also drop the number of chickens. I'm interested in dropping
That
that,
we can do because
which we can do through that committee.
it's a
So-
regulation. Well, we don't,
In the meantime of doing that, how many people are registered for chickens in our area? I asked, she said she was gonna compile a list. The secretary.
we have quite a list of
Oh,
people
do you know how
throughout
many?
the town. I don't know your area. We'll have to have Laura or Dylan.
Off the top of my head, I don't, but just a pure guess off of the number of permits that I've seen, I would say. I mean, upwards of 50 residents throughout the town,
Yeah. I was
Through
gonna
the
say.
town or just that?
through the town,
Okay, all
through
right.
the town. through
Then
the-
my other question is there anything about like some of these places, like, can you guys start to go or somebody go in through this, the neighborhoods of Weathersfield now? This has been a concern for a year.
We go by complaints, basically. We don't.
Well, I came up in, I remember right, it was during the school year.
I was
and I was
out in
concerned.
Kathy Drive in Nason before Dylan got hired. And, you know, obviously people aren't home during the day. I left him a note in the card. He did call back. Laura told him, you don't have a permit, so you need to get a permit.
Right,
And, you know, we're not gonna
but then like,
find,
once they get the chicken, like some
but
of the
they
people.
they
that-
have to keep them contained. What happens is they were going over the fence and,
Yeah.
you know, those
Yeah, they
neighborhoods,
walk the neighborhood.
it's like no border. It's like 10, 12 feet, you're in the neighbor's yard. So, you know, we
No,
have
I'm
that.
fine. Like, believe me, if, have as many chickens as you want, if you keep it clean, I'm fine, if you have
Yeah.
a chicken, you know what I mean? But seriously, but
Okay,
can I just ask one thing, like, can somebody start to check the ones that are currently there, we're having an issue, check and see these
Right.
people that are registered.
yep.
Like you said today, go in the back and say, let me see your
Yeah.
chickens.
Okay, in the back there.
Hey, I'm from Scott Hill Acres. I'm
Okay.
Debbie Swain on South Center Street.
Okay.
I thought that the bylaws stated in there that you had to have a certain acreage per chickens and all that. We only have quarter acre lots?
Right.
Why are they allowed 9?
I don't think acreage is worked into it though. Because
I thought you had to have it away from everything. I remember reading the
Oh, for-
bylaws.
for large animals, like for example, you
No,
won't
for
have.
chickens
Hold
only.
up, time out. You're confusing regulations and bylaws.
Right,
Okay.
What you're referring to, the setbacks
Right.
and everything, that is our livestock regulation.
Right.
There are minimum setback requirements
right.
for coops and for living areas of the chickens. The definition of livestock raising, that is the bylaw that we're referring to,
Okay.
that
Right.
allows the number of chickens, because the definition of livestock raising is the keeping or harboring of 10 or more chickens or poultry or 2 or more adult, I believe,
If
like
you-
cow, sheep, whatever, insert animal here.
Where the acreage would come in under the regular town bylaw, not our regulation for livestock.
Okay.
You have zone issues with the size of your lot. If you're residential, but you have an agricultural lot near you, which is 2 acres, they can only have so many animals. It was like 3 large animals. After that, you need a kennel license. Whole bunch of people had goats, llamas, pigs. So we didn't have that in our livestock.
Before this was even an issue about rats, this actually came up as an issue with chickens. I remember several months ago. And we were interested in just, in all honesty, rewriting our livestock regulations to not only. We now have this bylaw committee, which we can work with to fix our bylaw, to get that number down, to remove the 6 months or older. But I'm also interested in rewriting our regulation. Now, I will admit, I did start working on that. And when that livestock regulation was written, that was written by a committee. A group came together and put those together. In my opinion, I don't think I am sufficient as the one person to be rewriting them, and I think it would make the most sense to reform a commission to rewrite that
Right,
regulation.
what we did was did a public hearing. We also had animal control.
Because
a
this is
few other
just
people.
because, it's obvious this
Building
is
department,
becoming, I
zoning
mean,
agent is Tim, and
that
that
was,
committee
that committee was
advised
formed
the
in like.
board, and then we passed the regulation.
That committee was formed, because I spoke to the animal control officer who said she was on it. That was formed 2 health agents ago. So
Correct.
that was back in 2016.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's very obvious just by the fact that all of you are here that the regulation is out of date. It needs to be fixed, you know? So,
When we had none, it was better than none, because it was, people were coming in, we used to follow vehicles with chicken coops and say, okay, who's this person, you know? But we had no regulation. Once we created regulation, people were getting picked off by.
So what can we do in the meantime? That's the thing. This is something.
Well,
we wanna
we
do.
have regulation, like Dylan said. we
yeah,
need
we're
to-
here,
Right.
we're here for the rat.
If they could, when they're reviewing it, is there a way that they can
Yeah, I don't-
ask for an inspection?
The bylaws later on.
To kind of control it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you solve it.
Well, let's say if we have animals and all the animals have waste and they have food, you know. Regular, like the chickens and dogs and that. These rats come for those food.
Right.
Or if you have tall grass, filthy conditions, you know, your garbage can. You need to put a cinder block on it. Some of these rats will go right and push it right over.
So in the meantime,
But something attracts them, and the thing is, it can probably be, and they moved out of their niche by development, so.
We tore down.
Sir in the back?
I've actually had to buy a metal can for my bird feeder, my bird food, for my bird feeders, and put a brick on top of that. Because the rats are eating all the bird seed that the squirrels knock on the ground.
That doesn't happen as well.
Well, that's the other thing, too. When people have feeders, you know,
but the feeders have been around for a while for people.
Correct.
I think it's really the
As soon
chickens
as we
right now.
control the amount of food we put in the feeders, I started seeing less rats.
correct, okay.
But
But
what's
if you
going
spill it
on?
all over the ground and developments and push them into your neighborhood, they're looking for food. Okay,
This guy over here on the right.
Bob Bartlett, 52 Bruce Road. I started having rats come to my house underneath my bird feeders 3 months ago. I went through a 2-month battle with these rats, wood rats as well as the Norway rats.
okay,
I caught one wood rat with a habitat trap. Norway rats are too damn smart for those damn things.
They are.
So I started getting the spring traps.
right.
And I caught about, I don't know, 4 or 5 of those rats plus chipmunks. The chipmunks were also climbing on top of my fence, trying to get in the windows and everything else. But the thing that got me, and I want to know, is it a regulation or a bylaw that we cannot use rat poison?
Right now, there's a group in the state, mainly one lady, that is pushing to get rid of hemorrhagics. That's the only thing she wants to ban. Because unless you have the hemorrhagic in a trap where the animal goes in, eats it, and dies, which, by the way, you figure one trap, one rat, or one mouse, you know, gets to be like fairly expensive. If you put it out. Cats. Call it hawks and they eat eagles. They don't eat dead prey. They like to see it. However, if the thing is still moving. And before it dies, it takes a while for it to die. If they bite it or eat it, they probably don't eat it. They play with it, they bite it. The hemorrhage will kill that animal. So she's saying we're losing too many pets. And she's more worried about the species that close to extinct.
Pellets.
It's a specific type of poison.
Yeah,
They
it's a
sell
That's what we're referring to.
It's
pellets
green.
at Home Depot.
Yep.
And I found that it's, without knowing about this so-called regulation or
Right.
whatever it was,
There isn't a regulation yet, which is.
there is no regulation. That stopped them dead. I mean, they haven't been back since.
Because they take it back and.
And I fought with them for over 2 months.
There is a regulation, like if it's a lodge rat, you cannot use those devices with it's like I call it like the light.
They do make types of
That's a ban by
poison.
the state.
They do make types of poison that are safe.
Right.
There is one specific
Yeah.
one. Obviously, we're not allowed to give recommendations as a board.
Right,
But just one brand that I heard of in searching was, Radex provides a product that is specifically, excuse me. It's specifically marketed as a pet and predator safe product because it works in such a way that, it kills rats by, taking advantage of a specific type of mechanism in their digestive system. And that mechanism doesn't exist in pets, people, animals, etc. And so it ensures that it only kills rats. If anything gets to it, it won't kill it. So I think with the rat poison, it's more important to educate people so that they're aware of what type of poison that they're using and making sure that they're using a safe one.
They sell, and I used before hearing about this,
Yeah,
decon rat pellets.
yeah,
And you just broadcast it around where the rats are bound to go. And supposedly they eat that and go back to wherever they live and die.
yeah, it dries them out. Yeah,
That definitely drove them out. And after 2 months of fighting with these things, I haven't seen a rat near my house for a month now. Maybe they're in your, yeah, I don't know.
that's not banned as far as I know, and I'm pretty sure it is. Let me, this gentleman.
Alex Nicholas from 8 Dorothy Ave. So our problem just started this past weekend.
Okay.
Friday night, we were sitting on our couch and we had just finished eating and my girlfriend Courtney, she saw a rat go underneath our stove.
Walked right through our kitchen while we're.
Right in front of us. So it's clearly used to being around people.
Correct, yeah.
I proceeded to get up, this is at 7:30 at night, get off the couch. I pulled out my stove, I pulled out my dishwasher, I pulled out my washing machine and my dryer. I found piles upon piles of rat feces. Our house is clean. I have a cleaner that comes every 2 weeks. She was there just the weekend before and she
Do you
saw
have any holes in
nothing.
it? They obviously got.
So I found holes behind my stove. I went to Home Depot, I got cleaner, I got everything that I needed to fix the problem that I saw at that moment. The next morning, we had a pest control person come out. They set up bait stations around our house, traps, whatever. That night, caught a rat outside of the house. Woke up Sunday morning, had 2 more rats, one inside underneath my sink trapped, one outside trapped. Then the deck that I spent 40 hours over the course of the spring and summer, I had to take apart, pull away from my house, and then rip the siding off around the whole baseboard around the deck and found multiple more holes. Fixed those, repaired those, bought new flashing, new shiplap, new siding, and replaced that. I'm now $1,500 in the hole because of this issue. We found out that somebody on our street is leaving out freely bird seed and scraps of food. And has a colony of rats living underneath his den. And you
You
guys
were
have
out
been
there
posting
today.
these letters at least about people leaving poison out freely, which somebody's dog got to. We have 2 dogs. And that's a big concern for me. I don't feel comfortable walking my own dog in my own neighborhood. And a piece of paper and Facebook postings, I feel like, in the letter, I feel like you guys almost said you kind of know who it is. Why isn't that being addressed, like in like enforcement?
Right.
Like, you're leaving poison that can kill people's animals. I consider my dogs family. I don't know if you guys have pets, but my pets are family.
Right.
I like them like I love my dogs like I love my children. I have a son, and I care about my dogs just as much as my son. And now I find out that there's somebody whose house is really in not great condition. And the reason why I know that there's a colony of rats is because the person that lives next to them told me that they were doing some tree work in their yard and they saw all of these rats scattered in their backyard,
Broad daylight.
broad daylight.
What's?
We
the
made
number?
a formal complaint and she came down here and spoke to Dylan. And I don't know what we can do with that, but like, to me, that's a huge, huge concern. And I understand that, yes, we're concerned about chickens because yes, they do attract them. I know that we're concerned about this new development that flushes them all out. And we're concerned about leaving out poison and everything like that. But like, really, what are we doing for the actual problem here at hand? It's not chickens, it's not poison, it's rats. What are we doing about rats?
So Dylan can address that. I think that's the person.
Yeah, so that specific neighborhood, we did go down there, we did go to the house that you're specifically referring to, we spoke to that individual. That individual is actually moving, in, I believe, like 10 or 11 days. So we told him, he's
11 days, I'm keeping count.
yeah, he's got a dumpster out front. He's already beginning to clean out the property and we already established a plan to go back, as soon as, as soon as he moves out to meet the new homeowners and address the issue, because I mean, it needs to be handled and, we also we have to get a hold of the neighbor on the other side too. We weren't able to get a hold of her today, but there's also the next door neighbor, not in between you guys, but on the other side actually, because we noticed that, her property could definitely use a little bit of maintenance and there could definitely be, some vermin there too.
She's very disabled and I feel like she's a victim. I never see her. She never comes out of her house. I will say that I'm across the street from that individual and I will say that I was overrun by chipmunks and everything. They would feed there and run across into my garage and I could not stop them. I love dogs too. My dog got me through it because she's a terrier. She's a ratter. She was like going insane. I had to pull her off stuff. I finally got my stuff under control, like 4 to 5 days after he stopped open feeding. I got dissipated the chipmunks that were coming into my house constantly. And I saw him reach into the bird feeder and throw stuff on the floor yesterday. So I'm counting 11 days, trust and believe. I've been affected as well, and that individual is leaving, but I agree. that needs to be more done.
all of you.
And I wanted to mention too, that I know like in Boston and places like that they throw out birth control. That's what they bait them with.
I have a question for all of you sitting here tonight. I have a friend of mine that had a problem with rats. That's why I asked to mention the development. And he also had a neighbor that had chickens. But the biggest problem he had, he was drawing the rats into his house, into his property by putting out bird feed. He was putting out those peanut things for the squirrels and the chipmunks, because they're really cute. My question is you're all sitting here, is anybody doing that? Is that, like, I'm looking for a reason for the rats to go to your house.
What I'm saying, can I just say? We've been here in neighborhood and like you said, you've lived in yours. I've been in my home 20 years. My neighbors fed birds. I didn't feed with the dog. People that, we didn't have rats. Chickens are coming in. People's properties are not being kept up. Nobody's looking at them. Complaints maybe are coming in. what's the follow-up, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, in the meantime, I understand we can't do anything with laws and writing. In the meantime, we're coming to you. We have a serious problem in the past year. Like she just said, that man, like, new people, once he starts cleaning up, good luck. Like, do you know what I mean? They're running
You know,
everywhere.
I've never had, I've lived in my house 35 years, I've
the
never had
meantime,
any
right
rain in
now,
the
like-
summertime,
So
and this
let
is
me
unprecedented.
get to him first and then you. And then we'll have a comment.
I'm
Go.
Brian Curran, I live on the Bond Road, in fact, I live next to Bob, across the street. My problem started when my neighbor behind me started making a compost pile along the stone wall that separates our properties. I do compost too, but I got it in a hard plastic tumbler,
Right.
55-gallon drum, and it's a tumbler, it's that high off the ground. I spent $75 on it, but I had never had a problem with him until he started doing
He
that.
just has an open,
Yeah, he just takes all the garbage and throws it against the stone wall.
that's probably,
You know, I got him scurrying across my yard. I got 2 cats. They're going bananas. I wanna let them out, but the wife won't let me.
okay.
My rats were.
I live on Lisa Ann.
Yeah.
I've been in this house for 30 years, overall 35 years in Bellingham. I've never seen rats until the last actually couple of years.
Okay.
There were a couple dead on Lisa Ann, one at the bottom of my driveway.
Yeah.
So there is a problem, but, and I know it could be the chickens, could be the feed, it could be a number of things. Those are the main things. But of course, they're probably hiding in some of these really bad houses that are not being kept up. And I don't know, is there somehow there could be restrictions on people to clean up their property?
There is, like, we have a
It's not.
regulation that
done.
says, it's actually a bylaw, so before I say regulate, it's a bylaw. It's been around for years. You can't have your grass greater than, I don't know, 2 feet or 3 feet. It harbors ticks, it harbors other creatures, rodents, but also it could harbor rats. But something's flushing them out, or something's baiting them. And
Right.
it's usually, like this gentleman just said, if you have the old chicken wire and you throw your leaves in there and your grass stuff, and then you put food in there because you need some energy source.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea nowadays, because the North Main Street, right where the river is here, back of the plaza there were businesses throwing stuff out. We had to curtail that. Because the rats were actually coming up and people were seeing them going across a, 300 feet of pavement, which is pretty hot, so usually they don't do that, usually go back down the river. But they were thinking there must be food everywhere, so they were going all the way up to businesses, but it was 1 or 2. One went out of business, the other one, we said, you can't miss your grease pit, because they love grease, fat. And it has to be, someone has to, how do I say it? Get it in the hole, and then some of the bins I suggested, if you chain them down, lock them. They can't, and make sure they have no holes. Call the vendor and say, I need a bin that's steel, not plastic. And I need one that has lids that are like, instead of thin plastic, they're like, almost like fiberglass or something. So they can't, and you gotta weight them down. I mean, and I said, if it's inconvenient for employees, I said, we're coming down here. Those were turned in by the fire department to inspections. There's food all over the backyard and rats. So we get a complaint, we do send out, the past 2 agents weren't doing anything, because I've been on the board for 31 years.
Across the street.
The other 2
Did not.
ladies left, 14 and 9 years. But all because, like I said, the agents weren't doing their job. Now, we have Dylan, he's pretty sharp and he's very responsive, since he's been on board since September, it's like.
With that being said, I can openly admit though that we've had multiple discussions on multiple different fronts about personally my responsibilities with the agent position. I have a lot under my belt and we're currently looking at, we'll be expanding. I'm going to be hiring a food agent, which is going to essentially, any food related complaints, concerns, inspections will, instead of being my direct
He'll take care of the
responsibility,
other-
the other agent will take care of it, so I'll have more time to, like you said, go out into neighborhoods, drive around, check out
Is there
abandoned
any,
houses.
who can do that now? Do you know what I mean? Is there tax write-off people that can, you know what I mean, the volunteers, can they go around?
I don't know, I mean, the problem with going.
You know,
for
that's
example,
actually,
We have a
Good idea.
regulation.
that's actually, that's a pretty good
Good
idea.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in the
I just have to
meantime,
look, I have to look into how the program, like, how they would do qualifying for like.
if something comes, like a woman comes to school and
Yeah.
loves me. and-
Yeah, so I just have to do
Everybody's
that.
looking for
Look at
hours.
that.
Yeah,
The other thing too is we do have abandoned, what we call planning board and the board of health. We look for abandoned houses, usually if they're foreclosed or if there's no one there. We'll go out there, we'll survey it, we'll say, listen, it's gotta be cleaned up, what do you call the lender? Has to make sure that all the water's been, the water department shut the water to the house. That all the pipes have to be drained, so, and they have to make it safe, because if you have someone living in one half of a duplex and the other half is vacant for 2 years, when the pipes break, that person has to leave because of mold infestations. So
How
we
many
have to assume
abandoned,
that.
how many, like, I know there's one. on
I don't know a
Vermont.
lot. I mean,
What's the
there's
brown
one
house on
off of
Vermont?
Farm Street, there's a couple more.
The brown
Shop
house on the
drive.
other side of the street from you, a little down, had the trash bag windows.
Side,
Oh, yeah.
That thing's been empty for,
Yes.
yes.
like, has anybody gone to check that? Like, that's like, right now, we need help. And
Right.
that's why we're here, and
That's right.
we can't wait for bylaws. I don't need anything
no,
in my
I-
house for the
We're
winter.
not expecting you to do that, and we will get Dylan out there.
Like you said, he's like, do you have a, any contract with like D&T Pest or anything? Like, can
We
we,
don't.
We do not.
We do not.
anybody like that can?
No. And what we were suggesting to this individual who's leaving, I said, well, if all your neighbors have pest things, even if it's personal, I said, we need photographs. We need to show you, you're putting it out. And did you purchase it? And self-help is okay, but everybody needs to be doing it now, because the one house that doesn't do it, even if he may be the problem causing it. If you're not doing it, they're coming to your place. But when they're done feeding at your place, they go back in the neighborhood. And so.
Basically, the bottom line is, what can you guys do to start getting rid of the rats?
Well, I mean, we can't, like she said, we can't issue contracts and service neighborhoods, and everybody be saying for every health regulation, building regulation, the board or the town needs to pay for that. So, hiring a pest control thing, that's.
No, I didn't know, like, I work at a school, they have an exterminator, doesn't the
Correct.
town have?
Well,
something
that's
they use
because
for-
the town, I'm sure, is exterminated for any
Maybe
place that's
consult-
kitchen.
consult
as
with-
far
Right.
as current things that we can do,
Right.
See who
we,
has chickens in
we,
the neighborhood.
yeah,
Right.
we basically, we have
Look
to
at
check,
those places,
yeah.
the abandoned houses, like he just said to you, the house that has this thing and we know he's seen rats on it. Somebody go there tomorrow, what's going on
She
here? Like,
passed, the owner of that house passed away, and I think her son was left that house, and I haven't seen him.
Okay.
God only
Well,
knows.
obviously, we will get in touch with you. What we don't wanna do, and not this board, and not this agent, but. I've condemned 3 houses in Bellingham. It took a lot for us to do that, but they were like. Failed septic system, sewage going into a public way. That's an obvious.
well, I'm just saying like
It
an
took us
abandoned,
through
like
the
this has
court
been,
almost 90 days to condemn that. And the police department, after we went to, police department kept sending us things saying, there's frozen water and there's fecal matter in it, it freezes. And I said, we'll do the best we can. We got the owner to pump it, but it was so failed, so we got to get rid of all the tenants and then condemn it, so.
well, I'm not saying the house contend, but they're
No,
just
no,
like.
but what I'm
Just like
saying
the
is,
other week I was saying,
sometimes
the,
whoever the owner is, if it's the
Yeah.
bank, or if it's that son there, we'll have to get in touch with them and say, listen, you have 30 days or 7 days to clean up all these issues. Usually it's.
believe me, I
maintain-
used to live across from Tom Steve's properties, I completely understand.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
But like, for instance, like the, can I just ask like the people that was storing jet skis because they had trash on their lawn and other stuff taken up, so now over the summer they were storing the jet skis. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
clean up the yard.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
like,
And there is.
We
a
do
lot
have
of this property.
Part
that's a
of
lot,
our-
that's what I'm saying.
part of our general
What
water.
resources is the town ready to put into it? That's what I'm not hearing.
That's what.
Usually when we have a problem, typical, instead of one regulation, we have chapter 311, it's the nuisance law, which means that anything that ruins the quality of life, and I say this freely, for one person, means the Board of Health will react to it. But however, we have one agent, one health agent that's an administrative agent, that's Laura Renaud, and then the three members.
DPW help?
What's the budget for this and what are we gonna spend it on is what I wanna know. I mean, I wanna hear action. We've all got the problem, talking about abandoned houses,
Well,
this and that.
let me
it's small
say,
potatoes.
can I just
Please.
jump in a little? I live on Sheila Drive. It's off of Caroline and Stella. 2 years ago, I started having mice problem. So I immediately called D&T. They came down, they put out traps, they put in traps in my house. They found mice in the house. I think it's because of the construction that was going on up at the school. That whole area
Right.
started the problem. That one school getting taken down, dug up. All the rats had their places up in that area. All of a sudden, it's now everywhere in the development. I think it also started down in the sand pits.
I've seen them down there.
Yeah,
In the river.
it starts in that area, but I took it to go to D&T. I took it to put out the traps. I solved my problem. It wasn't cheap. The town didn't pay for it. I
That's not my
asked,
Problem, but I don't have the money to like these.
well, no,
people
no,
got 1,500.
but ma'am, I asked the town. I wasn't on the board when this was happening. I only got on the board last year. I went to the town and said, I'm having a rat problem. What are you gonna do about it? And they said, that's individual. You have to take care of your property. I took care of my property, and guess what? I have them come back now every 3 months.
And I can't afford that, sir.
I understand that, ma'am, but that's what people need to do.
I'm wondering though, I.
You have a house that's worth $400,000. You have to spend a little once in a while.
I've lived there for, like I said, and you said 35. Did you
I've
notice a
been
lot?
on-
And I live in the area by Macy School. Never had this. This is different. This is, I have consulted and I've paid. Hey, I make a good living, so does my husband. I'll pay whatever. I don't think. We're telling you something's going on. And we're asking, please go and inspect.
Have you read the Globe or the Herald?
I
It's
read-
going on in Somerville, it's going on in Boston, it's going on in Arlington, it's
We
going on
understand that, but
And
it's
they have
everywhere it's
We're
going on.
telling, but what people are saying, hey, this area is a mess,
No, no,
can you
I
come and look at it? We're asking people, Dylan, he can't do it all.
Yeah.
No, but
You need to go to the selectmen, somebody, and say, we need help. There is an infestation.
And those cities
Okay.
that you mentioned, they're having budgets and they're doing things like I mentioned, where they're giving out birth control that the rats eat, and then that's their way of handling it.
When I'm saying, I'm just saying, consult with DNT, I don't know, they're a town, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe they can
Right.
give a rate, or there has to be a rainy day
yeah,
fund in the budget.
well, the Board of Health,
But what I'm saying,
yes, it's only had one.
I understand, like, you live on Sheila, we're all in that same neighborhood. I'm telling you, this is not that. I've seen mice and things. I can show you from my phone. I don't think you'd want to sit, anybody in your family, I'm reading. Boom, like you saw, and it's daylight. Okay, people have kids, their garages are open, winter is coming,
That's what I'm afraid of.
okay? There's a house, like I just said, Yvonne, he's telling you, you were there for the chickens today, but you can't go out back. We need somebody to check check these places.
This gentleman back there.
So I'm gonna put this in a nutshell, what she's trying to say.
Okay.
Everybody, every individual household can do what they can to help push the rats away. But this in turn is a neighborhood problem, not just an individual house in the neighborhood. It's the entire neighborhood.
I can't say.
I live on Dorothy Ave and right at the end of their street. I got the watershed behind me.
Right.
That's where they all came up from. And they just spread it out.
And probably that giant development of small lots is not gonna help it. I'm hoping the people who live there don't put their trash out and don't create, how do we say it? compost pits, because, you know, there's no fences either. Fences make great neighbors, but whatever.
We live down by, the water, the river on Taunton, all that.
Right.
20 years, I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
Okay, so
But
it's,
2 or 3 years ago, that part of Taunton Street, I couldn't think of the street, and the whole back of North, the plaza there, we went after the owner saying, listen, your tenants need to do this and this. I said, because we're gonna shut them all down. That's what we can do with restaurants and stuff. If there any complaints of filth, they get shut down. Usually you get fined first.
The select board had a meeting last night. In my opinion, hearing what you guys are saying.
Right.
The only thing we can really do is go to them and say, hey, listen,
We need to find.
we need to figure out where there is money in the budget somewhere and help us out with this issue.
I mean, the woman.
I think we have to
comments
first
on the
figure
post
out
office.
what we can do
Comment?
about the problem
Exactly.
before we can go and ask for money.
Right.
I think we need to find out, A, what the problem is to
That's what I'm
start,
asking, I don't.
and B, how we solve that problem.
Right.
Now, then we go for the money. But we're gonna have to come up with some kind of,
Okay, can I suggest
Go
something?
ahead.
Can I make a
Did someone else talk?
Can somebody else say something? Just for a minute.
Go ahead.
Our problem, I'm sorry, but our problem on Dorothy Ave, the guy's moving out in however many days, okay? He has a huge colony of them living under his house, under his deck, to the point where you can drive by and see them. It is not a small issue, and when he leaves in 10 days or whenever, and the new homeowners come in, they're gonna wanna displace those rats. And guess what? They're gonna come to the rest of us on Dorothy Ave and on Florence and on Bryan. What can we do to contain that? If anything, because when we had an exterminator spend almost 5 hours at our house on Saturday as an emergency, his opinion was that the number of rats that he thought did all of the damage to our siding, our insulation, our walls behind our appliances was only from 2 to 3 rats within 48 hours. That's it. And if we're gonna have his huge colony come to the rest of our houses, like, how can we protect ourselves from that? I don't like,
Like, why wait 11 days? Do
I
something
don't,
now.
like, I don't understand what we can do or how you guys can help prepare us for any of that. We have all that set up, but I mean.
Yeah, 11, hold on,
I can
okay.
enforce
So-
them.
You know, I don't know, maybe we revisit the situation.
Yeah.
Listen, you gotta clean this up.
We just go back and tell them
You
that it
said
has
you
to be
had
done
dumpster
now.
already?
Yeah.
And we can,
You can't
we
find
can
it.
do it tonight. What we can do tonight is we can prepare like a board of health audit. We'll have it at a public hearing, a meeting. And, you know, whatever we told him saying, okay, we'll wait 11 days, but we'll be back 2 days after. Hopefully the home inspector says to the people buying it, hey, you know, there's a problem here. If not, they're gonna end up having a visit from the board of health 2 days after they own the property. So I don't know. what's gonna
Is there anything that you guys?
I think at this point, we'll have to just revisit this tomorrow, or next day. But tonight, we will execute an order to that individual to immediately clean everything up, you know, whatever. And we can say we have evidence that he may have been feeding them, let's say, if you want to call it. Okay, so,
Two different things.
yeah, go ahead.
To answer Richard's question,
Right.
which no one has answered. I've lived in my house for 48 years. I've had bird feeders hanging in front of my house for probably 47 of those years. It wasn't until this year, where all of a sudden they showed up to try to eat the droppings. So that was, so the bird feeders are not the problem. Although I did
But it doesn't help.
minimize, doesn't help. But also, there is an abandoned house, I believe it's owned by the state. At the corner of Hartford Avenue and Monique. And there used to be a house that they had. That they took care of, a halfway house.
Oh,
And it hasn't been occupied now for at least 2 years, maybe 3 or 4. And that house should be looked into, because I'm sure if there's having any type of problems there.
do you know the address, exact address?
It's right on the corner.
Mark that down. Put it this way here,
Right here.
well, if the state owns it, They have money. They will
If
clean
you,
it up
if you take a
immediately.
look, if you wanna really locate it, there's a fire hydrant that is painted green
Yeah.
in front of the house. And that means it's untreated water coming directly from the wells.
Yeah.
That's the house.
Okay,
Somebody maintains the landscape though, they do.
okay, well, we'll find out who that is.
Send out.
Um,
This is just a thought, because I know you can address their problem a little bit and help them. They seem to have a very extreme problem in that neighborhood. But at the minimum, is there any way to, and I'm sorry, but maybe put a moratorium on bird feeders for a little bit? Garbage in the yard, any of those things immediately that would kind of maybe stop some of them? Anything like that, just
Okay,
something, take down the bird feeders for a while.
Right.
Watch the garbage, go after these houses that are empty.
Right.
And make people clean up their yards. I mean, it's the simplest things. It's simple, but I think it would at least help, except for the
Okay.
extremities, and then we'll deal with that.
okay.
We had a customer, I'm not gonna name a restaurant or anything, but we had a problem where we picked up the dumpster and there was a colony of rats. I mean, they were jumping out of there was hundreds of them, and I'm not exaggerating,
In Bellingham.
Bellingham or,
not in this town. no.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna use this as an example. They had an exterminator, I use the same guy, he came in, he blasted them. I mean, he gave them all this, and it's good stuff where it doesn't hurt other animals or pets or anything. And he blasted them. Within a couple blasts, I haven't seen a rat since, and that was a couple years ago. So, I mean, and there's food and there's all kinds of stuff. So there are ways, I just think you gotta get the right company.
Right.
I do have a reference, if anybody wants it, I can refer.
the problem is, we, as the board right now,
Yeah,
we have a budget, part of it says professional services, but that is for the Board of Health to act and do their duties.
yeah.
We may have to hire someone to do something like,
These people are amazing. If they
Yeah.
came in,
a food issue, they have to do a certain kind of report for the state or. for the
Yeah.
town.
What if, like, for their issue,
they found it. They just-
But we cannot in professional
They found the
services
colony and they put the
use
stuff in
it for
there
any
and it
personal thing.
Well,
Now, we can say that this problem is endemic to
blasted.
Easy Street area, then the acres. Maybe now we're, unless the acres can include part of that Hartford Avenue.
what about like the stuff, like when people's like, say, for instance, like I'm thinking for your situation, like I was just saying, like. It's a Harborage area, like you guys call D&T Pesto, I'm just saying them because I just know the neighborhood. Tomorrow they're there. The man that lives there that's feeding all this, send him the bill. We had to do this. You have to clean up the property. It's affecting your leaving.
It's gonna be cold water.
Yeah,
You need a court order.
we have to
It's
go.
gonna be cold water.
You can't just,
I
And
like
if
the
we
idea,
pay
but
for
it's gonna be
There's,
cold
well,
water.
first of all, there's no way. Like.
I should know, like, I, you know,
I
it's
see
the
people in
septic, the
budget,
town,
the
and they
board
have to go
selectmen
fix
saying,
it. It's gross.
you can take it out of your budget, but
Yeah.
for certain things. Like that, like if we want to use our budget for legal services, we can't, we need permission from 2 other boards. That's the way the law is structured.
Woman in the back.
Hi, so I'm also on Dorothy Ave, huge rat problem, have kids, have pets. I think part of the issue is the folks maybe aren't educated on what they should do.
Right.
Or they don't have the means to do it. So you guys sent out those mailers about the poison and how a dog got a hold of it. Can you guys send out mailers to that neighborhood to say, we know there's an influx, this is what you should do? And then maybe ask people in that neighborhood if they're willing to step up and help the neighbors clean their yards. So we know that there's some elderly people, they're not gonna ever get out there and clean up their yards. But if we have a task force that's willing to help them, I would volunteer. We had to stop feeding the birds.
Right.
I love the birds. We had to stop because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Someone's gonna get really sick. So why can't we as a community come together? You guys take the steps, send out the mailers to avoid feeding, to avoid whatever's recommended. And then who's willing to join a task force to help out our neighbors?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to do that.
Right.
I
Why I
think that.
married him.
Great plan.
Well, the other thing.
No, but I mean, I think that's where we can start, because I'm,
Right.
you know,
establish-
I'll go out there, I'll deliver the mailers just like I did the first
Okay.
time. I can write something up, I could do that as easy, I could do that as quickly as tomorrow
Okay.
afternoon.
Because I was gonna
mean,
say, if that took a little time, like several days, then I'd say we do a reverse 911. And we
Yeah.
can do
Actually, that'd be
zones.
great.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I think the other, but not everybody's on that call.
Yeah, no one has the
As a
landline
911,
anymore.
So a mailer to everybody's door is more personal.
Yes, it is, I agree,
Yeah.
and he said he could do it in a day, so why don't we do the, the mailers, and he'll hand deliver them.
What about on the new Facebook site they put up?
I'll also post the exact
Yeah,
mailer
yeah,
that I
yeah,
make on the
Facebook site.
Facebook page as well.
Well, no, I'm saying that new one that the town put up.
Yeah, that's
that's-
just like the town page, so what I do is I'll post it on the Board of Health
Right,
page.
yeah,
and
we have a
they'll
web-
share it.
It goes to the whoever.
Bingo, they'll share it on their page, because I tag them.
Ryan.
Just real quick,
Oh, okay.
I just wanna say, cause we're talking about coming together here and trying to do something nice. We did bring in, just after, whenever this is done, we did bring in something from our pest control company. I have a dozen of them here, so if anybody wants one, you can give them a call. They'll come out, they were pretty fair in price from what I thought. If not, you don't have to take one, but if you need
What's the
one,
name of it?
come up, it's WPC.
Westboro Pest Control.
I think the other thing we need to find out from the town is, are we allowed to get exterminators in? And what it would cost to put out the poison. We're gonna have to find that out from the town.
But I think
We
like-
don't have it in our budget.
Right, but I think too, like you said, like first, like see where they're coming from.
Well,
See if the chicken coops,
absolutely.
the roads, coverage areas, like
Right.
you guys know
but
exactly.
if
where it's
we,
coming.
Yeah.
but if we go by what you're saying, if we go by what you're saying is, there's colonies at this area, there's colonies over here. We have to find out if we can kill them. And what the process is. I don't know if we have to go to the state, the DPU to find out.
DEP, you mean?
I mean, DEP, and letters don't mean anything to me anymore.
But
To find out what we're allowed to do. And maybe the state has money to come in and put out the poison
Like
and
a
traps.
grant or something.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
in the meantime, we need somebody to go out and see where.
But
could
I
be
think
coming.
our first start is with the notice to the neighborhood. And hopefully we'll get response from the people in the neighborhood,
Right.
besides yourself. Saying, oh yeah, there's a house over here that has a colony of them, we see them.
Right.
It will give us better ammunition to
and
bring
that's
to
a
the
good thing too,
board.
because maybe we need to educate people, if they do see it, to contact you. Don't
Yeah,
just-
and I think that's what we'll do with the letter and the Facebook sites. And I think it's a start.
Right.
And we need to start.
And that's why I
Tomorrow
said-
morning we'll start. But we need to find out some answers ourselves,
Right.
because we just don't have the authority to say, all right, yeah, spend $10,000. If that's what it's
No,
gonna
I didn't know if
cost.
you could bill them, like, you caused this damage. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
For that-
Yeah, but then we have to get it caught up, we have to
Yeah.
prove
It
it,
just
we have to
takes
have a
a little
lot of
bit of
evidence.
but there's just-
Where it's a problem up in one area, I'm sure it's a problem in other areas in town. So it's not gonna be just one area, fix it here, and that's the end of it. I think we're gonna have to go town-wide on it. So it's gonna cost a little more than just a small amount of money.
Right.
And we have
Like
to
I
figure
said,
out
yeah.
how to find that money, but we also have to figure out what we're allowed to do. I'm not really sure what we're
Yeah, I just
allowed
want
to
somebody to
do.
look around.
So as far as like the mailers and everything, so we have a front door and we also have a side door that is connected to our driveway. The notice was put on our door on July 20th or 22nd or something like that. We didn't see it for a week. We don't open our front door. We never use it.
Okay.
Is there some way that you guys can get with the clerk or the assessors and find like some other concrete way, a phone number to contact these residents, if you're going neighborhood by neighborhood
Yeah,
to address the issue?
I mean, that's
Because
as,
we didn't see ours for a week.
that's as easy as just to fix on my part. That's my fault. I just did that just because I was like, I'm at your door, put it here, go to the next one.
Right,
I
yeah.
can just throw it in your mailbox next time.
Yeah,
That's
I
easy,
mean,
that's an easy enough fix for me to just do,
better.
you know what I mean?
Well, that's walking too.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just be the mailman tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
it's all good.
That lady back there.
From the postal master.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, if you don't get permission from the postmaster,
Yeah.
they can find the town. I've been through this with my own
Yeah.
company. They can find the
Yeah.
town because you're not going through the process.
Oh, they
of
sound
finding
good.
the dam. And you
You
don't
can't put
own the,
mail.
you don't own the mailbox,
Noted.
you know, okay?
It's
so
been-
don't-
I'll call the postmaster.
I got a little late, so I didn't
You
know.
can't
if
do
you-
it. What was it?
As a matter of fact, you make enough copies and you talk to the postmaster. They can include it in the delivery.
Yeah,
Maybe.
For price.
Okay. You-
I rose up from
Yeah, but I know we
where
got
you
plenty.
gave out those notices. We did not get on South Center.
those notices. It was a different type of notice.
Okay, 'cause-
That was specific to the rat poison that was occurring in that neighborhood, where this particular one is about the rat issue itself.
Right.
It'll go to everybody.
That wasn't my question. I'm just saying, we didn't know about it until you put it out on, that site we were chatting with, yeah. And I thought, no, I went to all neighbors and said, I found a rat, one rat. Found out 2 doors down, they had killed 8. They had, and then from yours, I put out something on, we have Scott Hill Acres little thing on Facebook saying, there is a meeting tonight. Come down if you need information. And that's when everybody went, oh, by the way, and that's when all in our little, and if you look on our streets, there isn't anybody that doesn't take care of it. Not Easy Street, we're talking South Center, North Center, all the new houses. And that was the second question I had was there a list that we can see who actually has permits? I know you're saying it's not the chickens, but I've always been taught chickens, rats.
It can be.
You wanna, so you're asking if there's a list of permitted properties?
Yes, and I can
Yes.
give you a few of them that are up there. Do they have, on Lover's Lane, there's one.
Yeah, you'll just have to come into the office
Yeah.
tomorrow and we can print
Is
it
there one
up.
on Easy Street?
Yeah,
Because I
it's
don't
as
wanna
simple
put
as we go
chickens
into our
down.
permitting
They don't
software,
comply.
we select
Right.
animal permit, and we just print out the report.
Right.
Use
Because
it.
a lot of us have dogs. Now we have to get them another vaccine because of these rats.
Yeah.
And mine's a little dog. And it's not recommended because he's a little yipper.
Well, like I
Believe
said,
it.
rats are a little different than mice and a little different than other pests, but. You know, they can cause serious disease. We see
Yes,
it in
they
other
can.
countries.
Dog under 15 pounds, they don't recommend that shot.
Spent a lot of time in the military and third world countries. We have what we'll call happened in the 1600s, 1700s. Bubonic plague, which wiped out entire cities and countries. So you have that in third world countries. We're gonna get it in the United States, probably overpopulated. People are slobs.
Stop
Honestly.
houses to be built.
Yeah, I know.
Ask a question.
Whatever. I would love a warehouse. They're not occupied very often. There's no school issue, no
That's why
fire,
rats go
no
there.
police issue. However,
My car engine smelled like peppermint oil because I had to spray it because I had mice.
Can I just
Well,
ask
to it,
a question of?
$2,000 worth of.
Is that information public?
My truck, my GMC truck.
Is it violating anybody's rights if we give it out?
I don't think so.
And where do you
In
see
public-
that from?
Public view.
Public view.
Okay.
When I came up, the lady, one of the not the secretary, I asked and she said I should get that for the meeting. And I said, yeah, the list of everybody
Yeah.
who has chickens.
In other words, you probably saw Michelle, because I don't know if Laura was in today, but, yeah, they both.
Yeah, no, I don't need
I
to see a
just
list.
don't wanna, but I just don't wanna.
I know
make
what you're
sure
saying.
We're not violating
Yeah.
somebody's rights.
No, I know.
I just wanna know if they have a permit or not.
Yeah.
If you have a
That was a miscommunication. Lauren, if you can't tell, she's not here.
Like, I thought I was coming here and you guys, and I could say like, how many people in that neighborhood have chickens? And you could say, we got these ones. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's. what
that's
she
my
said.
fault.
Okay, so can I just ask, when somebody puts a permit in for animal, whatever, right? They just get it? Is there any follow-up to check to make sure that they're keeping it as well?
Chickens especially, some other
It's on
animals.
the-
Animal control goes out with killer. No one looks out for cleanliness. His setbacks from the fence, the house,
Do we have animal
Where's-
control help right now?
possibly, although Tracy's pretty.
The issue that I've had with animal control is because we have our livestock regulation that loops chickens into Board of Health. Whenever I call them for a chicken related complaint, I'm told that's Board of Health.
Correct. If it was a dog,
So,
a goat, not so much, because they gave that.
and you can't blame them, it's not their regulation, but also like, that's what I get. So listen,
Right.
we've talked about this for an hour.
Right.
Okay, we have a plan. The plan is, I'm gonna make mailers, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna hand deliver them to everybody. You guys talked about potentially forming a neighborhood task force. I think that's a great idea. we're gonna talk to the select board, about, just expressing to them that this is a townwide issue that we might need to devolve some resources to, and just explaining to them that we might need to, even if it just, that process consists of getting quotes from different companies, because I'm sure they're gonna wanna see in a stereotypical process, they need to see several different quotes, at least 3 from 3 different companies. So we'll begin that process with the select board. I mean, that,
You go
I
out
guess to answer,
Go look at the chicken.
Yeah,
have
and-
permits,
and
somebody go in
continue
the
to-
backyard and look at them.
yeah, continuing to look at, as people pull permits, checking out abandoned houses.
Right.
I mean, that basically sums up everything that I guess we could do as a board.
Right.
To help this issue move along. To Rick's point, now it's a 2-part, we're gonna do everything we can, you guys do everything you can, we'll help you as best as we can as we move forward. And like, I guess all I can say is, we're in this together and we're gonna
And
do everything we
I think
can.
Just back to
so.
abandoned houses. Those are problem, they've been abandoned for like, in some cases, years, and the problems recently started. Some of the abandoned houses we got rid of was because there was a vehicle in the yard. You just can't have a park there like that. There was an abandoned swimming pool. People had, because they lost the house, threw everything into a swimming pool. That's usually getting us going because we're not sure they're not throwing hazardous materials in there. And if you have an abandoned swimming pool full of water, there's always a neighborhood kid finds a hole in the fence, goes over there and drowns. So it's not totally a Board of Health problem, but it is because we're supposed to make sure that properties are maintained. So you drain the pool. If it's an in-ground, you fill it in with sand. And we will make loan companies, any owner, including the state of Massachusetts. But if it's totally abandoned, someone does all the grass and it's locked up and the water's been drained out of it, we won't have a mold issue, even though no one's there. Mold can get airborne, but you have to have a hole in the house for that stuff to get out. Unless you're a neighbor in a duplex. So I think we will look at those, but those are probably not the places they're coming from.
On the
They may
abandoned,
go there
yeah.
in winter time, but.
So I know at least, I'm not sure if it's still, in motion. I know it was a few years ago, but Franklin has an abandoned house task force. I'm also gonna reach out to them.
We had part.
Well, not even just partnership, but just, I'm interested to see, what kind of pull they have, cause we've been having a lot of talks of. Yes, there are regulations, yes, there are rules that say, hey, you need to clean up your property, but I'm interested to know, how much power do we have? As far as, hey, after X amount of days, is it just fines? How does forming a housing force expedite the condemn process? I mean, I don't know, these are all questions that I have, so I'll also be reaching out to them. So I mean. We got our homework, but I guess that's the answer. That's everything that we can do. So I hope. I mean,
Just to throw out to what you said. We have a lot of powers of Board of Health. But if the house has not got a failed septic system, it doesn't have, like, you can see rats coming out and we can see evidence. We can condemn that as fast as we can get him down to court, clerk magistrate, they don't have any problems. Here you go. And then if there's people in there, they're out in 7 days. If there's no people in there, it's condemned.
All right,
You
but
put signs out, padlock it.
let's
and
move
no
the
one goes in.
question here,
Okay.
so we can move on for the rest of the meeting. Dylan, you've got your marching orders tomorrow. We are gonna look into it and see if we can come up with some kind of a plan. See if the state approves what we wanna do, if we wanna put out poison. We're gonna find the money is another issue, so Board of Selectmen, I think it's a good start. What's going on tonight. And we'll see. We have a meeting in 2 weeks, so come on back.
So we can go in then, with 2 weeks, you think they'd be able to know, like.
Hopefully we'll
like,
have some
within 2
answers.
Weeks to
Yeah.
check on some of these,
We'll
in
have,
our
yeah.
neighborhood,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
In ours, check these chicken coops in the next
will,
2
we
weeks,
will.
and
And
Just
like
education.
Rick just said, I'm pretty, the one Dylan mentioned, yeah, there might have been, I don't know if there was a true state ban on it, but there's not much of a ban on pesticides you can apply. Certain ones you have to be an applicator, like for ants, termites, some rodents, but, most of the time.
But that information will be included in the mail.
Right.
I'm gonna explicitly, tell people that. Regarding the post and regarding the rat poison, what we're really concerned about is hemorrhaging poisons. Don't use hemorrhaging poisons. They kill everything, including humans. Don't be stupid and don't use them.
Right.
Use a safer poison that's only gonna kill rats so that you're not killing everything else in the neighborhood. I mean,
I guess that's.
I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
But I think we need to have a lot of answers from questions that we have to. So you got 2 weeks. Let's see what we can do in that 2 weeks.
Hopefully you'll see some positive sides of what we're trying to do, Like I said, we only have one agent.
I'm sorry, what?
Date of the next meeting?
I think it's the second,
so it's the first Tuesday of the month,
yeah, hold on.
whatever date that is.
Thirty after Labor Day.
It's the third, yeah.
It's a Monday, it's Tuesday after Labor Day.
The 3rd of September.
Right. So it's not that far away.
Yeah, the 3rd, and it's at 7 o'clock in this room.
Yep, same time, same room. So,
All righty.
Don't do that. Okay.
Thank you for coming out.
thank you.
Okay.
419 maybe.
He's getting it back. Okay, fine. Yes, no problem. And then what are we gonna do? Badges of what agent?
We can just talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Mike is here,
Right.
so,
Thanks, Dawn.
thank you, have a good one.
And what we can do is.
Or actually, sorry. So you just need.
Important issue to take care of.
Okay, Mr. Bellingham, right?
Pardon?
No, this is Mr. I'm so sorry, I mispronounced your name.
It's okay, it's Biot, you never can tell from the spelling.
Okay,
Okay, fine.
this is Mr. Biot, I believe you're just here for the agreement signatures. for
I
his
think we're
better-
ready to sign the agreement.
Oh, okay, great, yeah.
This came in case.
Yeah.
And,
What
we
street
can
is that,
proceed with the
80?
project.
It's 49 Weathersfield Road.
Okay, great. Okay. So usually that's way down on our thing, but let's push that up.
Yeah, we'll push that up. Do we have to wait
Thank
for
you.
Richard to come back?
We should.
No, I make a motion that we
Okay, fine.
approve the betterment agreement, section B for 49 Weathersfield Road, Bellingham.
Okay, all those favors say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, things, okay. Got the whole board, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So we still have to wait for Richard. Okay.
You're all set.
You're all set.
Thank you so
You're
much.
all set.
We have people scheduled and the dig safe flags are already in the yard.
Oh, beautiful.
Perfect.
Well,
Good
thank-
luck.
Thank you for coming along. Have a great night.
The edge of the seam in the table. Right. Okay. So, if you don't mind, we're gonna wait for Richard to get back.
Listen, I've heard enough rat stories for tonight, so.
You gonna dream about him tonight? I don't wanna get.
I mean, Mike, it's 8:08. I told you it was gonna take us a little bit.
With this one
You
here.
know what, I'm so glad, because I totally forgot, I was down in Narragansett and I was.
Well, here's the thing, between you and me, and I know what you said, and I agree totally. I said, but you know what I'm saying? I'm the higher being. If that thing thinks it's going to get on my property and not get killed, whatever means I need,
Yeah,
it's dead.
Oh, yeah.
I do not tolerate, like, people saying like,
yeah,
well, you can't kill that creature. I said, if the creature is threatening me, and I'm old now, so everything threatens me.
you have a small raccoon in the garage?
Yeah.
I'm feeding him.
Okay, fine, that's fine, that's fine. But there was a guy once who used to drive for Gorelick,
Yeah.
and he went to a house, and you know those little metal things?
Yeah.
It was outside, the old days, I'm
Yeah,
old, so.
yeah, well, now they're plastic, but they're.
Yeah, yeah,
metal
but
back
the
then, yeah.
flip, and
You gotta
they were
call when
insulated.
we were
Yeah.
The
together.
lady had put it outside, and the raccoon had, how do I say it, he filled it, the raccoons went,
Honestly.
and popped the
I'm not gonna lie
lids.
to you,
in
all-
those days, they were
I've
cardboard
gotten so
with
many
paraffin on it,
recently that they've all
and
been
sucked
sold.
out all the milk.
Is Stella the one that?
So she complained,
That
and
was-
Stella, the guy
runs from
came by at 5
Caroline
in the morning,
Caroline.
he trapped them all, he took them, put them in his truck.
That
What he
is-
did
that-
though,
so that
however,
is
was,
Weathersfield.
they had already
Yeah, it's
learned how to
Weathersfield.
feed
Yeah, it's,
bottles. He let them go in another neighborhood.
okay,
and
I
there
just
was
didn't know
massive
what the
problems with
outcome was.
Do you
immature
remember,
raccoons.
was it a
or, you know,
rooster or was it?
juvenile
the
raccoons,
rooster.
and the
Then it's
adult,
definitely.
and they were ramping in the neighborhood. And that was
Because
in,
I've,
when
with
soccer,
roosters, I either just
They
show
went
them
in
or send a
two
letter.
neighborhoods
and I'm
full.
like, get rid of it.
someone from animal control came out, or whoever it was, police department,
Yep.
and shot him. Of course, because I'd say, geez, you know. When,
I think
when
the-
people used to say,
This
oh, I kill that animal, it's dangerous, I'm going,
So,
you fire a gun towards an animal on cement.
you know, this is.
Don't you think the ricochet could
Let them
kill
come out and
another?
do it. I
human.
don't see why we're paying for it.
It's like, and that's
except
normal, I think that's abnormal behavior.
If it's all over town. If it's all over town, then it's us.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's only in that one area.
No,
I think
well, right now we have Weathersfield, we have, Easy Street, what do we call that, Sky Hill? Sky Hill, yeah. And we still may have North Main, but I don't, we haven't been back there since Bruce didn't do it and I did it. Yeah, whatever, so. I mean, Rick, I said this to her.
Why
you
don't
know,
we put out, why don't we find out how much it's gonna cost to put poison out?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no traps, I could kill it.
Yeah, the traps, I think.
I don't wanna trap them.
Problem is, don't you have to put it on the bid though?
Well, I don't know, see,
We may need
depends on
to
how
get-
much.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
probably do need 3
If you
days.
need another referral, I got a really good guy.
Okay,
We
yeah,
use them all the
Give it to
restaurants.
Dylan
in the
and then we'll have
Yeah,
3 people.
yeah.
just text it over to me or something.
Yeah, cause he's awesome. He
Yeah.
blasted that place a couple times and they ain't coming back. You know what, he finds the center.
Okay.
And so a couple of them eat, next thing you know, they just,
They go to the different places.
It- it just-
Yeah, they share the food, yeah.
yeah, they share it. It's like.
It's the same thing with termites. They put
Because
these
one
little
week we had
centrons,
like
they take it to
hundreds.
the queen, which is 30 feet or 300 feet away from the property, and they kill the whole colony, so. Well,
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to find out from the state what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do too.
Definitely.
Well, put it this way,
I'm gonna make sure.
I had to say this,
Didn't get caught in the lobby.
He got caught in the lobby.
yeah, but what I'm saying is,
Hey,
if you
Colin?
I think you got caught.
can buy it at Home Depot, it's legal. That's
Oh, yeah,
what-
no, I understand that, it's, in, I
What-
don't
what
want
we
legal.
disperse in
Yeah, I
the-
know, but I don't want legal, I just want them dead. So I want the most effective,
Okay,
an exterminator is gonna know that. You go into Home Depot,
no, what I'm saying is, that stuff will kill. Now, whether it's allowed, it is allowed. However, when you're certain poisons, you can't buy because you have to be an applicator.
okay, the
For
other,
example,
when you say it's allowed, it might not be allowed for us. We might, as a town, board, we might not be allowed to do that.
Correct. But citizens,
Yeah, but that's what we need to find.
Face sensitive.
Yeah.
I still think we need to find that.
okay, I agree, yes, you're right, as a town.
The other problem we're gonna have, we kill all these rats. There's, say there's
I
five.
found what's going on with the bees.
The carcasses are
I
good.
haven't signed
The
off.
carcasses are gonna smell, it's smelling.
Yeah.
So I think there's a
Now,
lot
if they're
to
outside, it probably does, but if they're inside, oh, absolutely.
And they didn't put a-
You gotta kill some,
You know,
go
I
back in the
invested,
house,
and-
because they have holes on that.
Right.
You know, so, you know, the people, like, occasionally when I kill them in the back garages, occasionally I'll walk out there in the morning with my nose. I'll look around with my little blocks on, and I'll say, yeah, there they are. I grab the tail, fling them outside.
Yeah.
Hey, come to work with me.
But nobody,
Use
no
more
creature
stress.
eats that. First of all, I have 17 acres. I don't want your dog on my property, your cat.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's a leash law, not for cats, but I'm just saying, I'm not gonna harm your animal, but I don't want your animal coming on my property, defecating. on my property.
No, I agree, I agree.
And it's my property, and
All right,
if you wanna come there, you gotta ask.
So,
all right.
Thank you.
419.
119.
So basically, the most recent update that I have, I guess, is. I don't know if it's because of settling, I don't know if it's because someone drove over it.
Right.
I don't know what it is, I don't know what the cause is, but there has been. Sorry, I just need to shut these windows,
Yeah.
my apologies. Do you mind grabbing that one?
119 on hold till next meeting.
No, that. Right there. Oh, yeah, but that.
Barely hear myself speak.
It's
Um,
the 20th. So that's fine.
So
You-
there was
you
some,
did miss
there
it.
was some shifting of the D box where basically, you have the central canal and then you have, if you're looking over the top of it, you have the one on the left and the one on the right. It looks like it kind of did one of these.
Really?
Where the left one is now getting flow and the right one is above the water level. And then the other concern was just, which is honestly an even easier fix, was just, the D box, coming into the D box, because that is technically straight from the pump. It's just hitting the D box with a little bit too much pressure.
Yeah.
And so when the water hits the D box, it shoots it right down the central.
Across
Exactly.
So it needs a T.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So that's as simple as throwing a T or an elbow in, and then the D box, I mean, it's H20,
Right.
so.
So
it
here's
just
what I
needs to be-
suggested, we take the pipe that's out here, which is above the water, we take this one here. And we create an elbow that's equal to that one. So the water has to come up to there to go to the other one.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
And that's the easy fix. The other way, even if we have to shave an elbow, we have to do it. There's room in that box as long as you left a little bit of pipe sticking in at least.
Yeah.
Good, so we can. put
well, the
something
only,
on.
well.
And we can do it with
well,
a fern coat.
But
or glue it.
the
Whatever.
issue with that plan, like I mentioned this morning, is just. There, like, that would be perfect if it was a drastic shift. It's not too drastic.
Okay.
Like, it's probably a difference of maybe like an inch and a half
So
to
we have to
3
shave
inches.
the elbow. I don't know if that'll work.
So,
Could you use dialers?
Could use a dialer maybe. I don't know, on a pump, well, I guess it's okay.
If you put the elbow on anyways.
I mean,
Right,
we
yeah.
could
and
probably,
the dials on,
You use a dial,
we
speed
could
dial.
probably try speed dialers,
Yeah.
just with a, just
but
with,
you can come up a lot on a speed dial.
Yeah.
You can come up almost more than halfway.
yeah, cause if
Yeah.
we just come up on the left with with a speed dial,
Right, right.
and then we just throw one on the right lower, and then we just make sure that
Yeah,
that could work.
yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
think of that. Now,
I
when
don't
speed
think-
dial is 50, 80, it should, right?
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
theory, the fix
Can do
is
different
throw
ones.
speed levels on the inlets to the field and throw a T on the
Right.
inlet to the.
Well, actually, you might be able to just put a speed level on the one that's, how do we say it? No,
You're better off just putting a T in. I
Yeah.
think you're better.
no, saying is, for the T, absolutely.
Yes.
To make sure the flow goes down. But
Oh,
we're
you're
saying
saying only put one in?
one speed level, because
Yeah,
Well-
you have to see where it's gonna come into play.
you have to see.
Yeah.
First thing's the T.
Because you can get 2 inches on one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do whatever.
So I mean, honestly, that was really the main issue
Right.
there. And
I can't see that D-box. there's 2 feet of stone under it.
Yeah,
My concern is them people drive, I seen trucks over there lately,
Yeah.
I seen, before we finished up there, somebody had dumped a bunch of waste that we had to remove off the top of the field.
right.
Like somebody else was doing work, they're throwing concrete. I think you made a stipulation, they had to put a fence or some
Yeah,
barriers
and
of
that never
some
got
sort,
done.
so they wouldn't.
so
drive.
I went down there today actually to tell them about how, because I actually tight tanked them because I was concerned that if they kept, like I said, if they kept pumping,
Yeah,
they're just gonna blow out their field and be back to square one.
Right, right.
yeah.
So I told them, I was like, listen, you need to turn that pump off until we figure out a solution for the D box.
Right.
And then you can just turn it back on. It doesn't mean shut down or anything, but
Right.
that's that simple fix.
Yeah.
And when I went there, there wasn't so they had put a fence up, but it wasn't what,
Was it construction fence?
no.
Okay.
It was not like, so we.
I want chain link.
Yeah, we made the
We got
stipulation that it was like chain link
Fence,
fence,
2 gates.
and that we want it like
Equipment in there to
gated.
mow the lawn.
This was just, they put, it looked like they put like stakes and you know that orange, like.
Yeah.
Perforated.
Yeah, that's construction fence.
Yeah, that.
Unacceptable.
So it's
Someone will drive
stakes
right
with
over that.
construction fence completely surrounding the field.
Yeah.
You can do that temporarily until they get the fence company out there.
Yeah,
Stick
but,
posts and chain.
but yeah, they need to make that, they need to make that like a full fence, which.
Right.
I mean, I think is their plan, but it just hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, I know, but you know, it's been how many months now?
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't even go there.
yeah. So I mean, that's kind of where
I'm
that,
ready to retire.
Yeah.
that's kind of where that one was
It's
at.
a good thing. It's a good thing.
And we fixed another problem that has nothing to do with you, Mike, but it was like, we came up with a solution. I said, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm willing to work with people, but
yeah,
I don't like to think that $1 billion company, we would never, we would have more lack of attitude, latitude with residents who don't do the right thing. And I'm saying, and $1 billion company has been, how do I say it? Pissing on my leg since
Everybody's.
November 22,
Everybody's.
when they got a plan approved. It was the best winter ever. And then when I took over for Bruce,
so
I
real quick,
should have condemned them.
your concern, of course, being the COC.
Yep.
I guess my question to you guys is, I don't really know what to do with that because it is technically, so Mike is correct.
Right.
He didn't physically sign the signed
Correct.
COC,
Correct.
but you know how we have two different kinds?
Correct.
And there's the one in
So what
permanent.
do we do with
The
that?
permanized one is issued.
Correct, okay. So technically, they have full operational thing, and the other issue about not paying Mike, that is a civil matter, I'm sure you'd say that. However, if we didn't issue the COC, I'm sure he would have got paid real quick.
I own the COC until they're unpaid.
Correct.
So that's.
And he never signed the other copy, so I think
never signed
technically,
Anything.
we
So
pull the
does he-
COC,
Okay,
we pull it. That's it.
so is that not,
to give it?
Oh, yeah, because here's the thing,
so is
since
this,
the COC,
is that
they haven't
not-
put the fence in, the D box has been driven over, I know.
As long as we're legal, I don't care, as long as we're legal, do it.
It's legal, yeah.
I'm game.
are you 100% certain that it's legal? Or do you think I should
I'll
check,
say check
Okay.
the town council.
Check
check with town council?
Absolutely.
And then if they say that it's legal,
Then pull it.
then I will
Then
do
pull
that.
Yeah, but you may tell
Is
town
that cool
council,
with you, Mike?
yeah,
Yeah, Title V says right in there that and the job is not finished till the,
right, I'm pretty sure he's right.
It does, I
Title
know it
V.
does.
No, I know, it's.
Now, here's the thing,
goes
since
back
they
about
failed
5
to
years.
do
That,
other
it's
things.
that permanized technicality, because even though Mike
Oh.
didn't sign, it says, oh, I as the blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So
Got it, okay.
it's something that I just need
Yeah, I
town
agree.
council
What
to tell
happens is,
me.
town council's gonna say like, well, if it were me, I'd say, ask town council. What's more legal, the Title V regulation from the state of Massachusetts, executed by the Board of Health members and the agent? Or permitize, I'm gonna say, is permitize, whoever invented that and whoever sold it to us, I would like to visit his neck or her neck.
Yeah, it's
It's
frustrating
it's-
software.
it is-
Find out tomorrow
I'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
and then move on. That's all.
It's sort of like it didn't work with our.
I
food
make a
system.
motion that we pull the permit once he finds out from town council.
Okay,
As long as it's legal, second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, so carried.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Well, the other concern I have, it's not just getting paid, but the other concern is, I stand behind my work, so I mean, if there's an issue with the D box or something, I'd like to be involved in it, cause I have a warranty on this, and
Fine.
I stand behind my
Okay,
warranty.
fine. So,
So I don't want it to be just a money issue versus the thing working, so if it's a matter of me putting a
and
T on.
as he just said,
This was
since it's
inspected,
his
right?
system, his
What's that?
warranty.
This was inspected,
Yeah,
your
It's
work
fine.
was,
yeah,
your work was inspected, so you get signed off.
yeah, you guys signed up, I
Yeah,
just didn't because of the situation, not getting paid. I mean,
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is, as Mike said, it's better that he install those things.
Yeah.
Whatever, than they hiring Joe Schmo, who probably has a gripe with
Yeah, I
somebody.
Well, and the other thing too, is that in theory, if Mike just does it, and it's as simple as throwing a couple speed loaders on a
Right.
T
I'm not
on.
gonna charge you. I'm not gonna charge you.
Well, not only that, but you don't have to worry about permits because technically it's the same permit.
It's the
Yeah,
same
it's
permit.
not the same permit.
So like,
We'll look at it.
whereas if we go to another person, they'd have to pull another permit
Right.
and it's a whole
I
other
get that,
thing and it's
yeah.
another COC.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'll talk to Dalton
And
tomorrow.
whether they caused it, the other thing for the COC, make sure you tell town council. We had 8 conditions in there to be that pipe, the fence, and no parking on
The
it.
flooding.
And they violated those conditions. You know, if you find out that someone violated conditions of a permit or a compliance thing.
Yeah.
You pull the compliance immediately. You go to the building department, get a compliance certificate, and then add another addition to it. You're gonna have that whole permit pulled in a heartbeat
So,
and a fine.
Yeah, I just want it to work. I wanna make sure it's working
Right.
too, you know what I mean?
so I'm gonna reach out to town council and I'll
Yeah.
figure out the COC thing. Until then,
You
they're
can
still
go
tight
do what you
hang.
gotta do.
Either you can reach out to them or I can reach out to them, whatever's clever. I'm-
It's best that you do.
I'll reach out
If
to
they gotta fix
Dalton.
it, but I'm telling them I'm willing to fix it for them.
Yeah.
If it's an
Right.
issue, I mean, it's
And
something
I'll
simple like
I'll
that.
tell them too, because funny enough, this issue has only gotten progressively easier to fix, because first we were saying, oh, we might need to get another tank in here.
No,
and
that I
slow down
said.
flow, and then I said, no. Now we need to put a T on, but we need to dig out the D box and we need to reset it. No.
No.
T box, T in levels. That's a
Yeah,
30-minute
get-
job.
Yeah, the tea's gonna cost me $5-10, the levelers I can get for free.
Yeah, so
I'll take them off Rich's.
So I'll talk to, I'll talk to Dalton, I'll
I got a
reach out
box
to
you
town
gave, I'll
council.
give you some.
I'll reach out to town council regarding the COC stuff, but I'll
Yeah.
talk to Dalton about the fix and let him know that you're.
Yeah, I'm
willing to do
definitely
it.
not signing off, so just,
Yeah.
I just came to make that clear.
I'll tell you.
No, I'm saying on our end with
Yeah.
revoking the permit I want.
Not
Okay.
So I'll figure that out and then we'll reconvene. Does that sound good?
Yeah, no problem. I just wanna make it sure
It's
that
not like I found one.
our signature's not on there until
And I said, what am I
they
gonna do?
do,
He said, "Not
because,
this."
that's my right, so.
I got you.
They look pretty if you put them in.
I'll go over there next couple of days and I'll fix
They
that.
look like
Awesome, sounds good.
Alright,
All right,
Okay, thank you, Mike.
thanks, Mike. Have a good night.
I'm gonna catch rats, what?
Okay, good.
What?
I have a question for you.
What?
Is Blackstone no more Title Fives if you have sewer in front of your house?
I hope not that, I don't think
I don't
that's.
know.
Like my dad's house, I'm gonna be selling,
Yeah,
and I was told, but I have to tie it into the sewer, $5,100 betterment fee.
I think you only have to tie it in if you don't pass Title V.
Correct. I
Title
believe
Five
it.
passed.
Okay. So
Then you don't have
have
to worry about it.
Yeah, right.
They said it's a mandate in town.
I think it's only if it fails.
Only if it's, yeah,
That's right. Okay.
check it out,
So
yeah.
that's just a
I think
lawyer.
it's only if it fails.
Thank you.
I don't want to say.
I could be wrong, but-
Blackstone belt.
You never know.
But I also think if you tie in, it's worth more.
I
Well,
already agreed.
whoever-
I'm selling to a friend of mine and it's short money, it's a short sale.
Right,
So
okay,
I'm not making that.
correct, yeah. So
No,
him
you
sinking
don't
in
make $1 million.
$5,100, he might lose all his money. I hope not.
Pretty much giving it to his daughter.
Okay.
All right.
Wait a minute. How much you want for your father's house I wanna buy? I'm sure there's a safe
I
buried
can't do
somewhere.
it.
in
Sorry,
the ground.
sold to her.
There's no safe buried in the ground?
Already sold to her.
I gotta go catch rats.
Thanks, Mike.
I'll talk to you
All
later.
right, have a good one, Mike.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the bill for the AAA police supply for 2 badges.
Okay.
It's for $355.
Okay.
Excellent, I agree.
Second, okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed.
There's
abstained,
no
okay.
signing on this, is it just,
We're, if, there shouldn't be, right?
I'll sign mine.
well, I'm just asking.
What I'm saying
I
is
don't know.
usually what happens, we're approving the funds as a board and, you know,
It's not done.
are you gonna make the signature? Fine,
Okay, I didn't realize I
Just
could have
in
done that.
okay,
I'm gonna
Alright.
need two.
There you go.
go for it.
Because Vinny already has one.
I already have one. So I actually have 3 or 4, but we won't
What's
go
the
there.
next person that's coming on board?
Okay, yeah.
Well,
Why don't we just
I make a motion that we accept the bill from Solomon VNA Hospice in the amount of $670.
Second, second,
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
I make a motion that we accept SD Septic Inspections LLC in the amount of $300
second,
for perk test 10099 South Main Street
78 Hickson Street, and 55 Stephen Road.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, so carried.
I make a motion that we accept the betterment loan for Land Planning Incorporated. 80 Nesson Road,
Nathan,
Nason, I'm sorry, $5,745.
second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, thanks, so carried.
All right, I make a motion that we accept. This is really hard to read.
Belanger.
Belanger and Sons bill for $18,500 for 80 Nesson Road.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
And I make a motion that we accept F.E. Morse Enterprises for $19,550
What they do?
for 117 Yvonne Road.
What do you do?
You're doing.
That's just a betterment, that's another septic on the betterment plan, so it's just paying the guy for it.
Okay, you second that?
Go on, second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, so carried.
I think that's everything.
And that should be everything. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. We're adjourned. The deal, we shut us off.